Well, it almost is the new year. We're close to the new year. Anybody ready for a new year? Anybody? Yeah. Hey, did you have a good Christmas? Everybody have a good Christmas? How many of you are broke? Well, at the end, we'll just pray for financial favor, that God would be with us, that He would teach us how to be better stewards of what He's blessed us with, better budgeters, so that we're not broke after Christmas. Man, it's so good to see. Listen, you need to give yourself, just do a little this right here. Take some time to pat yourself on the back. Just do it right now. Here's why. It's cold outside. It's rainy outside. You had every reason to stay in your house today. And you got up and you got dressed and you came to the house of the Lord. I'm telling you, that is exciting. That's why that's one of the things that I love about this house is that when the doors are open, you show up and you're hungry for the things of God. Come on, that's incredible. I'm seriously, that means a lot. And it says a lot about who you are. As you can tell, I am not Pastor Rex Johnson. As many of you know, he has been battling shingles for several weeks at this point, and he has toughed through it. Some of you had no clue because he's good at just bearing it and trying to push through. And last Sunday, for some of you that don't know this, he actually went home early. He didn't preach last Sunday, but he was here, wanted to be here, and had to leave early because he just got run down and worn out. And so literally last night, Cassidy and I went to their house and said, you just need to stay home today. Get your strength back. Don't come overdo it, because if he comes, he's all in. You know how he's hugging everybody. Hey, how you doing? He can't calm down when it comes to loving on people. In fact, hey, can you give it up to our senior pastor who's watching online? We love you. We miss you, Pastor. Get well soon. Yeah. He's got his message ready for Wednesday night. So if his recovery continues to go the way that we hope it is, he'll be preaching Wednesday night. He's raring to go, I promise you that. And to all the first-time guests, all the people watching online, man, we honor you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for tuning in and being in the house of the Lord via the internet. Why don't you give it up for our guests online as well, our family online, yeah. So we're going to jump right into the Word of God today, and we're kind of in the land of in-between, right? We're almost through 2018. Like some of you have closed the book on 18, but we're not really in 19 yet. We're kind of in this limbo land, and we're going to dive into a story that even if you're not very familiar with church, maybe this is your first time, I would say that chances are pretty good that you have heard and are familiar with this story. But even if you're not, I'm going to give you a very brief, to-the-point description to kind of catch you up on the story that we're going to be talking about. In fact, it is my favorite childhood story and really continues to be. And it's my favorite story to teach my son about. Listen, parents, if you want to get your children, especially your sons, interested in the Word of God, read this story to them. And I promise you, they will be, tell me more. You'll understand why when we jump in. You know the story of a young man by the name of David, who was a young shepherd boy tending his father's sheep. And if you're familiar with the story, you've heard that one day a lion came and a bear came and snatched a sheep from his flock. And he slayed the lion and the bear. When's the last time you've been out in the wilderness and you slayed a lion and a bear? Some of you are like, I've killed a bear, I got trophy. No. When did you do it without a gun? He slays a lion. Think about that for a moment. A lion and a bear. Like if they come to get a little sheep of mine. Listen, Mr. Sheep, I love you. But I don't know that I got what it takes to take care of that lion. But not David. He slayed a lion and he slayed a bear. And then the day came for him to obey his father and take supplies to his older brothers who were all fighting the Philistines. And eventually, David finds himself on a battlefield facing a giant by the name of Goliath. And then leads us to our scripture here. And then David took his shepherd's staff and he selected 5 smooth stones from the brook, and he put them in the pocket of his shepherd's pack, and with his sling, he approached Goliath. And so today, here's what I want to do, okay? I know that 2018 for some has been a banner year. It's been a great year. It's been everything that you dreamed it would be, everything that you hoped it would be. But I also know for some of us that 2018 has brought some giants with it that you've had to face that you never dreamed that you would ever face in your life. You faced some situations in 2018 that you still can't even get your mind around. You can't understand why. You don't know how. You didn't see it coming. It came in from left field. It happened with a child that you never thought it would happen to. Your marriage that you thought was so great started to unravel. It just hit you. It blindsided you. I know that that's the case for some of us in 2018. And as I started to talk to the Lord about what we would talk about today and what he would have me share with you, he kind of dropped this into my spirit today. And so I understand that your giant doesn't carry perhaps a sword or a shield, but perhaps your giant brandishes and has in 2018 blades of unemployment or abandonment or abuse or depression or marriages that are on the rocks. Your giant perhaps doesn't parade up and down the hills of Elah as Goliath did, but he prances through your office, through your bedroom, and through your classroom. Perhaps 2018, your giant brings you and brought you bills that you just haven't been able to pay, grades that you couldn't make, people that you couldn't please. Alcohol that you weren't able to resist, pornography that you just couldn't refuse, a career that you couldn't escape, a past that you couldn't shake, and a future that you're scared to death to face. I don't know what your giant has presented you with, but you know well the roar of your Goliath. We don't have to take 30 seconds, and I don't have to sit here and say, hey, why don't you take a moment and figure out what it is. No, you already know. When I started talking about the giants in 2018, there were things that are already coming to your mind that the Lord was dropping in your heart, the things that you've been battling in 2018 listen, here's what I believe for you. You don't even have to believe it for yourself. Here's what I believe for you, that 2019 is going to be the year of victory for you today. 2018 may have been the year of giants, but 2019 is going to be the year of slaying giants. It's going to be the year of victory for you in 2019. I believe it with all that I have. And so what we're going to do today, David gathered 5 smooth stones as he approached Goliath. And I want to give you 5 smooth stones that you can put into your pocket as you walk into 2019, so that you can be prepared to be victorious in a way that maybe 2018 wasn't victorious for you, so that you can stand in front of whatever giant it is that walks in your path, and you've got some ammunition so that you can be victorious. Come on, anybody want to be victorious in 2019? Are you ready to win some battles in 2019? Are you ready for some chains of addiction to fall? Are you ready for things to change in your world? Come on, I'm ready for it to happen. This is going to be the year. And so I'm going to give you 5 practical steps. If you're taking notes, you can jot these down. They'll be on the screen. You can take pictures however you want to do that. The first stone that I want to equip you with, that I want you to put into your pocket so that you can be victorious in 2019, is the stone of identifying your giants. This is the first step. You've got to identify your giants, because when we're facing giants, It's easy to fall into the trap of blaming or taking out our frustration on something other than the giant. Maybe that's not for y'all. Maybe that's just me. Which is exactly what David's brother Eliab did in this situation. Watch what verse 28 says. He tells David, he says, David, why did you come down here? Who's watching your sheep, insinuating that David is being irresponsible for being there? He says, I know how conceited you are, David. I know how wicked your heart is. And in this moment, David's brother doesn't want to be in this situation. He doesn't want to be on the battlefield facing Goliath. He does not want to be there, and he does what many of us do. He falls into the trap that a lot of us fall into. He starts blaming other people. So now, instead of just having a giant problem, right? Now he's got a giant problem, and he also has a problem with his brother. And see, that's what you and I do. We turn one situation, one bad situation, into another bad situation, and it spirals out of control until we just want to throw in the towel and say it's not even worth dealing with anymore. You've got to identify your giants. And David wasn't his problem. David was not his brother's problem. The giant was his problem. Listen, here's what I want you to do. I want you to tap somebody next to you and tell them, listen, you're not my problem. Come on, look at your wife, look at your husband, say, baby, you're not my problem. I may have been insinuating that but this whole last year, but you're not my problem. Now look to the other person and tell them you're not my problem. And so now, not only does he have a fear problem with the giant, but he's got a conflict with his little brother. And you've got to be careful. Listen, you've got to be careful that you don't allow the pressure of dealing with a giant in 2018 to create other problems in your life as you step into a new year. Because what happens is when we have a problem at work, rather than taking a positive step towards the giant, what do we do so often? We take it out on our husband or our wife at home. And so what started out as a work problem is now a marriage problem. So we got multiple problems here. And what happens when we're upset? What do we do sometimes when we have conflict at home? Instead of taking a positive step towards that giant, no. We tell ourselves we don't deserve this. And some of us go on a spending spree. Like military generals, charge. We buying stuff that we can't even pay for. And it ain't even Christmas. You can't even justify it. And so now what started off as a giant problem, right? A fear with the giant, now has turned in with a marriage problem, has now turned into a financial problem, and now you're ready to quit. I'm trying. Human nature, listen, can I just speak really blunt to you? I don't want to hurt your feelings. If you were to kick the cause of your problems, you wouldn't sit down for a month. Your rear would be so sore. You and I are the cause of most of our problems. And we like to blame them, and it's the job, and it's my boss, and it's her, and it's my kids. Human nature is to blame something else, to divert attention, to make something the problem that's really not the problem. Goliath seems so big, seems so frustrating, and so we carry it from situation to situation, making it bigger than what it really needs to be. If you want to be victorious in 2019, you got to rightfully identify your giants, the right giants. The second stone that I want to put in your pocket as we enter into 2019 is the stone of getting God's perspective. Come on, everybody say, get God's perspective. I think it's so important that you start to see yourself and the giant from God's perspective. Now, imagine standing on the bank of a lake and you look out. Some lakes, right, you can't hardly even see the other side. Some you can't at all see the other side. It looks massive. It looks so huge. The trees are so tall that you're like, wow, God, look at this. This is huge. But then look at the same lake from an airplane 20,000 feet in the air, right? The lake looks small, and you feel huge. You're like, whoa, if I stood up next to that, look how big I am. You take pictures. I see your pictures. You post them on Facebook and Snapchat from an airplane looking down over the city. You feel huge, right? But if you're standing on the banks, it's a different point of view. It looks so small, and I feel so big. You realize, right, that when God put you and I on the earth, you know what he told us to do in Genesis chapter 28? He said, I want you to subdue it. I want you to rule over it. I want you to have dominion. You know what he didn't say? You know what he didn't put in there? He didn't say, hey, when I put you on this earth, here's what I want you to do, child of God. I want you to be defeated. Yes. I want every situation that you face, I just want you to have the most negative attitude that you can have. I just want you to walk around life like this, just feeling whipped about everything. I mean, just get discouraged. No, but that's how we live our life so often. He said, no, I want you to rule over it. I want you to subdue it. I want you to have dominion over it. When he looks at you and I in the situations that we face, you know what he sees? He sees a child of the king, someone who is well able, well equipped to handle any giant that steps in their way. That's what he sees when he sees you, but that's not what we see. I don't think I can do it. I can't do it anymore. Yes, you can. You have to. Stand up. Fight again. Come on, you will be victorious. You can be victorious. And this is exactly how David saw himself. David saw himself this way. He saw himself as big enough and the giant small enough. He walks out on the battlefield. Can you imagine a teenage boy? I mean, there's just a whole army full of people that are scared to death. Here comes this teenage boy. Here we go. He sees himself as capable to handle a giant that stands in his way. I wonder what would happen if you would have that kind of confidence and faith in 2019. I wonder what would break in your life if you would have that much faith in your God to walk out and to face any giant that walks in your way. To have some confidence in your Savior. And David strolls out confident, ready to take on the giant. And everyone else was focused on the threats of the giant. But watch. David was focused on the strength and the character of God. What are you focused on in 2019? What is your focus? Is your problem your focus? Or is God your focus? In fact, when David would speak to the soldiers and to Saul and to the giant, he would keep bringing up God's faithfulness, God's goodness, his power, and his might. In fact, he would make 9 references to God while only making 1 reference to the giant. How does it work in your world? How has it worked for you in 2018 when you faced a giant? Come on, are you making comment? Is every other word out of your mouth about how big your giant is? About how big the situation is, how massive the problem is? Are you making one comment about the giant to every one comment about your God? What if we reversed it in 2019? What if we said, oh man, Mike, I cannot believe that I'm dealing with this situation, but guess what? My God is able. He's bigger than any situation. Come on, I've read the back of the book. You and I, we win. What if that's the way you started approaching it, just like David would approach it? If 2019 is going to be a year of victory for you and not defeat, you've got to stop giving your situation and your giant more credit than it deserves. And by constantly talking about and discussing your giant, you magnify the size of the giant and you shrink the strength and the character of your God. David walks in verse 26, and he starts off by walking up to the soldiers. This is awesome. I love this. And he says, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine?" Fellas, listen, hey, who is this guy? Don't you know that God's with us? That God's going to help us? And he ends up in front of the king, King Saul, and King Saul's trying to give him armor. He's trying to give him a sword. He's trying to give him everything he can. And Saul's nervous because he's got a whole army of guys that are scared to death to go fight this giant. But here comes David, the errand boy, delivering supplies for his brothers. I'll fight him, let's go. So I was like, oh, this could be really bad for me if I put this guy out there. But he's so confident, he really thinks he can win. What if he does this? I don't know. And so he's nervous. And he's trying to give him this pep talk. And this is what I love about David. Come on, some of us need to get a David spirit in 2019. David says, King Saul, this is a teenage boy speaking to the king. Hey, dear sir, I appreciate the words of encouragement. I appreciate the armor. I appreciate all. But see, I don't need that because I don't know if you know anything about my past. But see, there was a day when I was out tending the sheep out in the field, and there was a bear that came out of nowhere and tried to take one of my sheep. And see, I was able to slay that bear. And but it doesn't stop there, King. See, there was another day when a lion tried to come out and take, and guess what? I don't know if you know this about me, but somehow I was able to defeat the lion as well. And King, see, I'm going to walk out there, and that's a big dude. I ain't going to lie, he's big. You're right. But I'm going to take him too. See, there's a lion, there's a bear, and there's a giant. And guess what? I've taken two, and I'm about to get victory over number 3. That's how David approaches the situation. Hey, King, listen, you need to know that God's never failed me. He's never left me hanging. And he ain't starting today. He's not going to start in 2019. He's going to be there with you through every giant that you face in this new year. He's going to stand with you. He's going to go before you. Don't worry about me, King. I know you're worried about how it might look if I get slaughtered out there. I get it. But you just got to know that I'm ready. We're going to do this. God's with me. In verse 45, he ends up on the battlefield. And this is great. He's approaching, the Bible uses that word, the giant. And I like this. He starts talking trash while he's approaching. He got that, I'm not even going to do that walk. He probably had some cool walk. Hello, what up, Goliath? Probably didn't say it like that. But that's how I picture it. That's how I tell it to my son. He's like, yeah, this is awesome, Dad. Hey, Goliath. Y'all laughing at my funny walk. I know what y'all are doing. Hey, hey, Goliath. This was the world's first trash talker. You come to me with a sword and with a spear. I just want to let you know what you're in for. I know that's what you're coming against me with, but I come to you in the name of my God. So you better bring it. You better be ready because I'm bringing it. I got somebody behind me who's ready to do battle for me. Bring your sword. You can bring 2 spears if you want. That don't really bother me. It's only going to take me 1 stone. He keeps bringing up the God factor. God is with me. Bring it, whatever you want to bring against me. Come on. The Lord, my God, is with me. He's going to be with me as I face this giant. He's going to be with me in 2019. I come to you in the name of the Lord, and it gets better. This is awesome. This is why I'm telling you, if you have sons, read this story to them. They will flip out. Because it gets better. You think the trash talk stops there? No. He continues. He says, and by the way, Goliath, not only am I coming against you in the name of my Lord, I'm going to cut your head off. How's that hit you? We're not going to just do this right here. I'm coming at you. I'm going to knock you down with 1 stone, and then I'm going to stand over you, and I'm going to cut your head off. That's how this is going to go. I know you look at me as just a little teenage boy, and that's fine. The underdog. I get it. I like the underdog role. Let's go. I'm going to cut your head off. And then it gets better. The trash talk, this is amazing. And then I'm going to feed you to the fowls of the air. This is a teenage boy approaching a giant with this kind of confidence and this kind of faith in a God who's going to be with him, facing the greatest giant that he's ever faced. But the whole conversation isn't based about how big the giant is. The whole conversation is based around how big his God is and how big the one that's with him is. Hey, let me just tell you, if you're hanging around people and every morning they wake up and they like to talk about the giant, and every night they go to bed, they talking about the giant, they're texting about the giant, they're on Facebook writing about the giant. Everything is about the giant. Can I tell you, you need to get around some different people. You will never be victorious if all you do is talk about how big your giant is. You'll never have victory over it if you talk about how bad it is and how big of a hold it has on your life. My marriage will never get better. You're right. You keep talking like that, it won't get better. But why don't you step out in 2019 and say, our marriage will be restored this year. I will have victory over this addiction. My child will come back to faith in 2019. Because what you talk about, you give strength and life to. To the other soldiers, Goliath, the giant, looked so big. They were focused on the giant, but David was focused on God. The third stone that I want to put in your pocket as you walk in to 2019 is the stone of considering the rewards. Considering the rewards. And so David stumbles in on a conversation. Remember, he's not necessarily supposed to be there. He's just delivering supplies. And David basically says, so, wait, did I just hear? What did you say was going to happen to the man or the person that conquers this? There was a reward? Did you just tell me that one more time? Oh, sure. Here's the reward package. Great wealth. Amen. Yeah, somebody said, that's what I'm talking about. The second thing, the reward package, is the king's daughter in marriage. Now, that could be good or bad on so many different levels, but that's a part of the package. And the third is that you never have to pay taxes again. That's enough for somebody to run the aisles right there. No, I'm kidding. It's one thing to have great wealth. It's a whole nother thing to not to have to pay taxes on it again. And so he enters the conversation and he says, wait, can you just repeat that for me? I like to hear what those rewards are going to be when I whip the giant that stands in front of me. And some of you have been facing a giant. You've been facing some challenges that you never saw coming in 2018. And like David, you need to consider the rewards again. You need to hear what's going to happen in your world when you take that giant down once and for all. When you just stop fiddling with it, when it's not something that you kind of, I'll try next week. We'll try to get better. I'll try to go to count. I'll try to get over this. No. When you take this giant down once and for all, you need to consider the rewards of what's going to happen in your world. Let me tell you, for some of you, listen, when you whip this giant, when you slay this giant, you're going to have less debt. You're going to get a better income. You're going to have a house of your own. You're going to shake off your past. You're going to finally get your degree. Your marriage is going to be restored. Your kids are going to want to be around you again. You're not going to be held captive by addiction any longer. Come on, don't those rewards sound good? Aren't those the things that you want to accomplish in your life? You need to consider the reward. And I really do. I wonder what it looked like for people that didn't know about David to enter his world 5 years after he slayed Goliath. Like, what do you think the things were that they might say? Here's what people might say, right? Man, that's a lucky guy. He gets all the breaks. Look how much money he has. wow, he's married to the king's daughter. She's not very cute. She's not very sweet, but he's married. She's the king's daughter. She mean, spoiled, rotten, but he married. That's the king's daughter. He don't have to pay taxes. This guy, man, he born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He just had everything handed to him. Can I tell you what I've learned in my 36 short years on this earth is that when I see people who are experiencing uncommon rewards in life, I automatically start to wonder what giants they had to face to get where they were. It happens. You don't experience uncommon rewards without facing some giants along the way. And isn't it amazing that giants always position themselves in our life between us and a better day in our life? That's the way it works. When people face a giant, you'll know this to be true. They either concentrate on the price or the prize. When you concentrate on the giant, you can concentrate on your giant, or you can concentrate on the rewards. And if you concentrate on the price, you're going to be discouraged. But if you start considering the rewards, oh man, that's right. When I do whip this addiction in 2019, when God does give me the strength and we can make it, listen, when we do get counseling for our marriage, when my kid does come back, look how much better our family's going to be. You start getting a little strength and excitement, and you're encouraged when you start considering the rewards. So you've got to identify your giants. You've got to get God's perspective. You've got to consider the rewards. And the fourth stone that I want to equip you with today, you've got to take decisive action. You've got to take decisive action. David spoke to the giant. He ran quickly towards the giant, and he cut the giant's head off. Can I tell you, knowledge is amazing. I'm glad that you are smart. But you are not rewarded for how smart you are. You're rewarded for what you do with what is in your head. Indecision, listen, will hold you captive. But as simple and as true as this is, it's amazing how many people get stuck in analyzing, planning, and organizing, when what you need to do is just take a step of faith and see what God does. Just step out on that limb and just see what God will do. I wonder if David would have gotten the same results if he had stayed in the tent talking about the giant with all the other guys. Man, this giant's huge, bro. Like, I don't even think, like, oh, I got a plan. We'll surround him. Like, you go that side, I'll go that side. You go over there, I'll jump on his back, I'll choke him out, maybe bring him down to his knees, and then you get him right in the gut. You know, we'll take him down. Just do this. Let's just wait till tomorrow. We're tough, though. We're going to knock. You're ours, Goliath. No. He starts talking to the giant. He walks quickly to the giant, and he starts talking about God to his giant. And then he knocks the giant down. He cuts the giant's head off. He takes decisive action. Listen, you may not know what to do. You just need to do something. Stop sitting there. Stop talking about it. Step out in faith and watch God back you. If you're unemployed, ask yourself, what action do I need to take in 2019 to get a job? If my marriage is on the rocks, what do I need to do in 2019 to get this thing back where it needs to be? If I need a closer relationship with God, what action do I need to take today that will start moving me towards that relationship? Pastor Randy, if you'll help me. It's the end of the year. We got to put a bow on this. The fifth stone that I want to put in your pocket to carry into 2019 is the stone of celebrating your victories. I like this one. And I'm not referring to a party that you might want to have on the heels of a great triumph in your life. No, that's great. But I'm referring to an ongoing, continued, watch this, ownership of victory. Not just a momentary moment celebration of a battle won. No. But a continued ownership of victory. 1 Samuel 17:54 shows us that David carried Goliath's head and all of his weapons, his swords and his spears, and he put them all in his own tent. I love this. What David was doing in this moment, let me just clarify for those of you that are unsure. David is saying, listen, that giant was big. I'm not going to forget what happened today. What just happened? I'm never going to forget it. So here's what I'm going to do. Are you ready? You know what he was doing? He was building a trophy case. Oh, man, that's a beautiful sword. Whoop, here we go. Oh, wow. Goliath's head's a cherry on top. That's pretty gross, but... Now his bio reads, not just David, the shepherd boy, but now he's David, the giant slayer. Who am I? Yeah, I started as a shepherd boy, and I did what I was supposed to do, but God has been with me. I've seen the power of God work in my life. He was with me when I defeated the lion. He was with me when I defeated the bear. And guess what? He's been with me as I took on Goliath. And listen. We're close. We're about to wrap this bad boy up. Would you stand with me, in fact? I tend to believe that David had this going on, that he knew how much strength he could draw from his past victories. And this is where I want to get you and I in 2019, okay? Because I know there's people in this house. Maybe 2018 was great for you, but you fought some giants along the way to get where you are. But I want to get you to a place where you realize and you can draw strength from the giants that you faced earlier in your walk. See, I think David had this mindset that it was really the way he operated as a champion. It wouldn't surprise me if as David was picking up the 5 smooth stones to go and take on Goliath, if hanging around his neck, and I can't prove this, but it just seems the way that David operates, he's picking it up, and he sees kind of swing out in front of him here a bear claw that he had on a necklace. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember, God, I remember when you were with me and that bear came out from behind. Oh, yeah, I remember. Let me grab this stone. Oh, this is going to be a good one. And then around him to keep him warm as he leans down, it kind of flaps right here on his side. Oh, that looks like a lion's skin. Oh, my, I remember. Yeah, I remember, Lord, when you were with me and I defeated the lion. Let me pick up one more stone. This is going to be good right here. Constant reminders of his past victories. Come on, I'm telling you, I don't know what you're facing today. But when you slay this giant, when you slay the giant that you're facing now, it will serve as strength for the next giant that you face in your world. And you're going to remember what God has done for you. And when another giant comes, you're going to say, oh, yeah. I remember you. I remember when God was with me. See, when a lion comes against me, yeah, God, you're with me. When a bear comes against me, yeah, God, you're with me. See, when I face lions, I know you're with me. When I face bears, I know you're with me. When I face depression, I know you're with me. When I face anxiety, God, I know you're with me. When I face addiction, I know you're with me. When I face financial problems, I know you're with me. When I face marriage issues, God, I know you're with me. And guess what? It may be hard now, but I know that we will win. We will win. We will win. Because I'm not a loser. You've proven it to me time and time again. I will not lose. I will not be defeated in 2019. 2018 may have been tough. It may have been frustrating. But God, if you are with me, I'm going to walk into 2019, and this is going to be a year of victory for me. Hey, I got a question for you. Is anybody ready for a breakthrough in 2019? Is anybody ready for God to do something in your world in 2019? For chains to fall, for addiction to fall, for marriages to get better. Here's what I want us to do. They're going to sing a song. I don't know what they're going to sing. Pastor Randy's good at it. He's going to sing something. But if you just want to declare that in your own spirit, if you just want to say, you know what, Lord, I'm going to do exactly what David did. I'm going to approach 2019. I'm going to make a move. I'm going to make decisive action. And 2019 is going to be different. If you want to break through in 2019, why don't you step out from where you are and begin to make your way down to the front? Come on, don't be shy. Yeah. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to sing a song, and I want you to declare it. I don't even have to say what the giant is. You already know what that giant is in your world. We've got a couple more minutes. Listen. And I want you to declare it with your mouth that 2019 is going to be a different year for you. It's going to be the year of victory. Listen, what you speak, you give strength and life to. This is not the time to give life to your giant. This is the time to give life to your Savior and to how you are going to be victorious. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go. Let's sing together. Let's worship Jesus for just a moment.
You never fail. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness. Faithfulness.
Come on, declare it today.
I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail. Your promise still stands.
2019 will be a year of victory. Yes. Hallelujah.
I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail me yet. Oh, I've seen you move.
Come on, sing it.
You move.
Come on, declare it. Declare it. Yeah.
I'll see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way.
This is the year.
I'll
Yes.
see you do it again. I've seen you move. You move the mountain.
He's going to do it for you.
I believe.
He's going to be with you.
I'll see
Yes.
you do it again. You made a way where there was no way. And I believe.
Declare it. Declare it over your life.
Do it again. I've seen you move. You move the mountains.
Hallelujah.
I believe. I'll see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way. And I believe.
Yes.
I'll see you do it again. I'll see you.
Hallelujah.
I'll see you do it again.
Hallelujah. Come on, why don't you put your hands together for Jesus today? Hallelujah. Now listen. Here's my guarantee. He's going to be with you. He's going to be with you. So when you walk out of here and you face whatever giant it is that you have to walk out of here and face, your head is held high and your shoulders are thrown back because you're not fighting that giant alone. You've got past victories to draw from, and you've got a Savior who is going before you. So walk in confidence, walk in faith. Let's take 2019 by storm. Come on, anybody ready to do that today? Woo! Thank you for being in church. Remember, keep Pastor in your prayers. I know he's watching service today. Once again, Pastor, we love you. We're praying for you. Guys, have a great rest of your Sunday. We'll see you back in the house of the Lord on Wednesday night. God bless you. Let's go get 2019. Have a great rest of the day.